All right, guys, I don't know if this is going to make any sense, but we all know spirituality, right? We all know there's some underlying transcendent entity, force, or being that exists outside of time and space. Well, we don't know. We don't know. That's the thing. Well, we think we know. But as Jordan Peterson said, if you believe in something, your actions are what dictate your belief. So if actions dictate your belief, and the church is saying that you don't have to act the way Jesus did, you don't have to, how does that make any sense? If we're stuck in sin, and the Bible said there's no sacrifice after we willfully sin, after we come to the knowledge of the truth. So tell me how this is wrong. How are we allowed to just sin every day? If sin was okay and Jesus couldn't help us overcome it, then why die for us? What's the point? I just don't understand it, man. I believe that we're saved by grace and faith in Jesus Christ. I believe we're saved because of the sacrifice of the blood shed on the cross. Although I'm a sinful person. They're trying to shut me up. But I'm a sinful person, as we all are. And I never claimed to be righteous. I only claimed that I seek righteousness. That's the only thing I ever claimed. I never seek to judge anybody. However, when I see sin, it tortures my soul the same way it must torture Jesus' soul. Because, and trust me, I just sinned last night. I lusted after a woman I loved, and I tried to get her out of my head. It didn't work. And I'm trying to get over it, but it's hard. It's hard when you have never had a true connection that was real in this world, except for one person. And when you lose that, your life becomes decimated. It's worse than just a heartbreak that most of you people endure, because most of you people have had more than one love connection in your life. You at least had a mother. You at least had a father. You've had multiple girlfriends that you probably loved. You've had friendships that were not real. Friendships where they didn't screw you over, where they didn't have sex with your girl, where they didn't stab you in the back. I've never had anything but people stab me in the back my whole life. And I've never once taken revenge. Okay, one time I did. One time, here's a story, right? Here's a story about wrath and how they can get you to react. So I went to rehab, and I was in rehab with this guy. He was a millionaire, a Jew. I'm not saying that that means anything, that he's a Jew or a millionaire. I'm just saying that I think he was part of the scam, trying to make me question my reality 100%. And I'm not going to name any names, right? Just know if you ever seen that Airhead candy, his head was built like that Airhead candy. That's all I'm going to say. So you can imagine how easy of a target he was when I had to destroy him. But listen, sorry, that's beside the point. But this is what happened, right? He would call me names the whole time, do little condescending, little small things, little remarks to try to get me, try to provoke me, right? And this isn't the first time that someone has provoked me and I have paid the punishment for defending myself. This is why I'm never going to get tricked by that again. But, well, I'm not going to say that because nobody's perfect and I'm a man. I can only take so much. But I'm going to try my best to not let them destroy me because of their mistakes or their provoking spirit. But listen, so for 3 months, I let it slide. I let him call me all these names. I let him say the condescending remarks. I let him feel dominant even though he couldn't even fight a fly. I knew he couldn't fight before I even talked. When I first saw him, you know somebody cannot fight when you look at them. You know what I'm saying? Well, nobody thinks I can fight, but that's beside the story. But listen, so one day I went into the bathroom. He ended up coming to the sober living that I stayed at. And so now I have to share a little room. I had my own room and he shared a room with 2 other people. But we're in the same little house. And so one day I went to use the bathroom. I forgot to lock the door. And I was taking a shit. And this guy walks in, like, close the effing door, P word. Right? P-U-S-S-Y. So I was so mad. I was tired. 3 months of taking shit from this fool when I know what I could do to him, right? So I finally I jump off the toilet, didn't even wipe my butt, had a poopy butt, walked up, jacked my pants up, and just beat him, dropped him, right? Only took 4 punches, dropped him, left a gash right under his eye. And guess what he did after provoking me? Well, he called me, he was like, you're a pussy, you're never gonna do nothing. So I said, all right, I'm tired of this. 3 months, bro. I respected you, showed you nothing but respect, showed you nothing but love, showed you nothing but restraint, and you still want to test me? Say less. So I got up, got off the toilet, didn't even wipe, beat him with poopy hands, and then guess what he does? He says, you're done. I'm going to tell. He goes to the the owner of the sober living, whose dad's a cop, and decides to snitch on me, and I get kicked out, bro. They kick me out, dog. So you see what I'm saying? This is how the government tries to trap you as well. This is how the government does people in the hood. They implant pride and ideas into our brains, especially in the hood, because of course they're going to try to oppress God's people. But listen, so this oppression, right? This is what they do. They provoke you to anger and then punish you for the only rational, violent response. They provoke you to anger irrationally and then punish you for the rational, violent self-defense that you have to implement in order to protect your dignity, protect yourself from getting chewed on, preyed on, bro. So yeah, I just went off on a wild tangent, but that's a story. Do not let these demons provoke you. They don't deserve an ounce of our energy. And this is not a grandiose, self-righteous, narcissistic delusion. This is facts. Provoking spirits, they're so miserable, they don't even deserve for us to get angry at. They have nothing. They have no soul, no mind, no heart, no empathy, no sympathy, no humanity. It's been sucked out of them. And yes, we have to look at them as victims for some reason. Yeah, we should look at them as victims because they're just a victim of this demonic fallen world. And some people are weaker than others, right? I'm pretty sure anybody who follows God has been to the point where they question it, like, what am I doing? Why should I try to seek righteousness in a world that's nothing but evil? Why? And they almost got me. They almost destroyed my faith. I almost broke. I was so close, an inch away. But every time you lose all your strength, every time you're ready to quit, God gives you a little bit more energy, just a little tiny bit to get you through the next day.